into another week already. It's October 23rd. We're talking about some substantial strike movement, EV's election pitch, and a bullet-ridden Tesla.
Everywhere I go, the people
Whoa.
really want to know who I is and
Talking about bullets.
Bullets.
Oh,
man.
bullets this week. Like, I am so geared up for this week. I don't like, I think it is, we came, you know, and we talked about this on the pod last week, but we met with our like director team last week for ASOTU just to plan out the next 9 to 12 months of what ASOTU might look like, because you know we're always like throwing little wrenches. We're gonna try and not throw wrenches so that you can stay planned around it, as well as our team. But also, I think like coming off that, then we have our Friday meeting with our team, and just going into this week, like everyone knows what we're after, and building this community, showing what it's more about. And then listen, so you may have seen I did a little interview with the team at JD Power a couple months ago. And Stuart Stroop emails me this weekend, and he's like, I watched episode 2 of More Than Cars, and it was unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like it in the industry. He's been around the industry for a long time. And then that's Saturday morning. And then I show up to church on Sunday, and 3 people are like, I watched episode 2.
Hey,
and I think I really like automotive. You know, like I'm like,
wow.
Oh man, this is too good.
And then JD Power called back and was like, hey, we want to help sponsor and fund the rest of this season. Yeah. We believe in it so much.
Christine, if you're listening, you can still call back and say that. We will accept.
Yes, we will. We will. We absolutely will. Look, I don't know if there's any reason to be tied, if you really say you care about the industry, to anything else other than that, if you're not tied to it. Like if you say it and preach it, because you know we've heard it a lot where people are like, this needs to happen, this must happen, this has to happen. But like we know, just like everything in life, like there are a lot of words, but people look about like what you do, and in business, where your dollars go reflect the values and beliefs that you have. And I'm just putting that out there. We're so thankful for so many partners that we have in the ASOTU-verse who do believe that. And the bottom line is that like we know that when we connect and when we do meaningful things and when you're fired up about what you do, the funny thing is that you make more money because your business is more operationally sound, your technology's better, your hiring retention's better. Like it's all better. All better. Oh man, we got going right away.
Hey, speaking of getting better.
Whoa.
Oh, the segue.
I don't even know where you're going with this.
Hey, this Wednesday at 2:00, we're talking about getting better with foureyes and Jeff Ramsey of Orisman Automotive. We're going to be talking about the struggle being real, how data may be destroying the customer experience. So a little bit of interesting title, but I'm excited about how we're actually going to engage with data and how we transfer that into how we engage the consumer in their experience. So thanks for foureyes for partnering with us to put on that ASOTU Edge webinar.
Super cool. These webinars have been great. Quick format, new webinar format. No more sitting on a call for an hour, pretending you're paying attention. It's just 20 to 30 minutes, quick shot. So you actually get what you need and then you get on with your day. We hope you join us. That there's another thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know what it is. Hey, we're not going to announce the date yet, but we have decided. Should we say it right now? I mean,
everybody on our team would kill us.
Okay, we're not going to say the date. Let's just say, all right, pay attention, because tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about when the next ASOTU CON is going to be, and that might be a little surprising for you, but we want to make sure you are there. So many people couldn't be there because they say we didn't announce early enough, so we're announcing super early this year.
There we go.
So we'll talk about that then. Okay. We should probably get into some news.
Let's get into the news.
All right. Oh, but you mentioned More Than Cars. If you don't know what we're talking about, or you haven't seen it yet, More Than Cars is a docu-series that we're making about the inspiring things that happen inside retail auto dealers every single day. Kyle and I travel around the country, telling some insane stories coming out of these dealerships.
Yep.
You know, lives changed, families changed, amazing environments, and Kyle and I have a lot of competitions too, which I won't spoil everyone, but I have a hard time winning. So you can go to morethancars.tv and see both episodes 1 and episode 2 now for free. All right, speaking of things that aren't free.
Segue.
Okay. So in their seventh offer, that's lucky number 7 since the beginning of the month, GM is claiming, quote, substantial movement in its latest offer to UAW members. Joining Stellantis together, they offered a 23% wage hike as the strike enters its 6th week. Both automakers are aiming for over $40 an hour for by 2027. So it's like a weird increase reflecting industry shifts and pressures. The amount matches what Ford had already proposed earlier last week. So here's a little bit of the back and forth. UAW President Shawn Fain seemed to agree that it was like good movement, saying there was serious movement. Great. We'll take that little bit of a
take it. All right.
He reminded everyone, and then he reminded everyone we could expand the strike at any moment.
He was like, see this Infinity Stone glove? See this thing? Watch. He's like, see my fingers, they can move.
So true. Oh man. So basically he says, in quote, I quote, the bottom line is we've got cards left to play and they've got money left to spend. He also continued that the UAW is looking for not just a good contract, not a record contract, but a contract that turns the tide. He's just going.
That's it.
GM had some quotes, had some things to say. It said it's time to conclude negotiations, bring our team back, and focus on ensuring GM success, securing quality U.S. jobs for many future decades. And here's the last little.
Here's the one.
Here's the little
one that we're gonna comment on. Okay.
So we got GM and Stellantis making offers. Shawn Fain saying, "Okay, we're making progress." He's like, "Oh, and by the way," he took the opportunity to respond to Bill Ford's comments last week regarding Ford and the UAW banding together to beat non-union automakers, and he said, "Quote: the days of the UAW and Ford being a team to fight other companies are over."
Whoa. This is clearly not a man after our own hearts here.
Let's look it out for number 1 right there.
Can we ship him a collaboration is critical shirt? Is that possible? Can we get that in his mailbox? Anyone know?
We could. Hey, maybe if we do, he'd burn it on TV.
That would be crazy. We've got to get. Hey, is that like the all publicity thing? But
I guess. Hey, if he wants to come on the show, we would love to have.
Come on the show. We'll have some fun.
We would too.
That is a scary statement for me because like I'm just looking across the way and I think that Bill Ford's comments were absolutely accurate. And when you look at the landscape of what's happening with new automakers, specifically new EV automakers making their way into this OEM landscape, like there has to be collaboration in order for survival of legacy over OEMs to work. And that being the potential heart of the UAW, I don't know if that's everyone, but the verbal and out there heart of it, scary.
It is. Scary. I mean, maybe they're positioning to, just the bigger win for them is getting more non-traditional automakers unionized. And so he's using that to rally the other ones to say, no, where it's not us against them. Like traditional against newcomers. I don't know. It's just, I don't do good with conflict.
I don't. Speaking of newcomers in the EV market.
Stop. Segue.
I want to say so many things. But the retail auto industry has found speaking more from conflict to conflict, the retail auto industry has found itself in the center of culture once again as EV adoption and government incentives have now become a political campaigning point amidst rising EV prices and labor strikes. President Biden's pro-EV stance faces a lot of new challenges from Republican contenders, further polarizing the electric vehicle debate. Just what we needed. In the U.S., for every 5 Democrats owning an EV, there are only 2 Republicans, highlighting a political and ideological divide in adoption. And here's another thing. The demographics of EV ownerships also reveal an economic disparity. The median household of an EV buyer is $186,000 a year, up from the typical general new car buyer's household income of $122,000 a year.
Wow.
And even that number is way higher than it's been for decades, where it was kind of stuck at the $90,000 mark for a long time. So basically, we have like 2 sides of this fight, obviously. From the Wall Street Journal article that has this, it says Here's a quote. I don't get why Ford, GM, and why these car makers aren't fighting to make cars that are going to sell, to make cars that are going to be able to go on long distances, said, you know him, Donald Trump, at a rally during which he predicted EV policies would lead to hundreds of thousands of American jobs being lost. The flip side, right? The flip side of, when Biden visited UAW picket line a little earlier this month. And Biden's quote, the real question is whether we'll lead or fall behind in the race to the future, or whether we'll build these vehicles and the batteries that go in them here in the U.S. or rely on other countries, Biden said while visiting a Ford factory. So there really is one side, other side. We're just trying to figure out how to move some EVs or how to stop making so many EVs. And now
outside
it's
of the sides, I hesitate to get in the political thing. The shocking point here is that the median household income of EV buyers right now is $186,000 a year. Like, that's top 1% of
because
US.
usually it's like a third car.
Right. Exactly.
And so it'd be interesting to see what the data has done. Like, how old is that, like, as of the end of 2022? Because I have a feeling 2023 shifted that a decent amount because of incentives, and it's going to shift a lot more. But I mean, the real political debate is government money going in to influence commerce, right? And for a product that it's obvious that consumers aren't really ready for yet. Maybe they will be,
or can't afford, because and I don't think that median household income is just the affordability of the actual vehicle. It's the affordability of charging or having a home where a charger can exist, right? Like, it's multiple factors that lead to needing the high household income. And until you get that high household income closer to at least where new car buyers, which is already ramping up because of the change in affordability with pricing and interest rates. I mean, I talk to so many people that are sidelined right now. It like literally sidelined in vehicle purchasing because of interest rates, because they literally can't afford it. I even seeing, there was a thread on a car dealership guy LinkedIn post where finance managers in general and GSMs were just saying, we're seeing an exorbitant amount of cash buyers, but some of those cash buyers are actually credit union buyers, because credit unions are still 3 to 4% less than regular banks. And so if you don't qualify for credit union financing or don't have a credit union, you're even more sidelined by that. So I think, like, tracking that all the way back to EVs, the EVs sidelining people that may or may not, that may want to buy an EV, but can't afford it or don't have the resources or don't have the garage to put the charger. That's the bigger issue at this point. And I don't care what amount of government incentives you may or may not have. That's still the bridge to cross.
It's like, I think we're going to look back on this time and say, like, is it possible for a government or governments, global even, to force a technology and then just force feed it so hard that eventually it becomes the normal? Because the flip side is, like, say, you have China and foreign automakers doing that to an extent, and there is a risk of not being in the mix, right? And we've heard a lot of that too. So it's not again, just like everything that tries to break down to be red and blue, it's like, no, there's valid points for each approach. And the more measured we can be in it, and the more practical we can be in solving our problems, I think, I believe in the industry will figure it out. But I don't know. Well, stop speaking, because I want to say other things, but I'm not going to say those other things. Speaking of other things,
just
definitely another thing.
Last week, a Twitter post a little bit broke the old X. We'll call it a Twitter post, but an X post was popular on an account called Tesla Owner Silicon Valley account. It showed a test turned publicity stunt on the Cybertruck's new bulletproof claims. Basically, what it is it's a photo. If you're watching, you can see it. But a user found this truck driving on the streets, and it is a Cybertruck with what looks like bullet shot at it all up and down the body side panels. There was nothing headed toward the glass, but they got all the doors and a little bit of the 2/4 panels on that thing. After the post went live, the CEO Elon Musk confirmed the Al Capone style barrage And his comment on the post was, we emptied the entire drum magazine of a Tommy gun into the driver door, Al Capone style. No bullets penetrated into the passenger compartment. This was a little bit after Tesla's disappointing earnings call last week. What a mess.
Oh,
what a
man.
crazy.
Hey, like what do they say? When in doubt, entertain.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
When in doubt, entertain. And that seems
now,
to be...
I will say, if you read a little bit more in the article, a bunch of people were like, nah, if it's a Tommy gun, that's a that's a soft blunt bullet head. And it's not, it's not like a high capacity round or anything like that. And, a 22 would easily penetrate that. But hey, look,
No, 22 wouldn't.
I don't care.
So it's a 45 caliber round.
Or a 45, that's right.
No, it is. The Tommy gun is a 45. It's a little more blunt. Somebody in the thread, I was like, obviously really interested. Somebody actually tested different rounds on the same 1/8 inch hardened stain, like the exact spec to stainless steel. And it did stop everything. It stopped 9 millimeters. It stopped a bunch of stuff, but obviously like an AK-47 or like, an AR 308.
But that's going through.
But hey, if I'm driving in a shady situation, I feel really good that I'm in
great.
it. And people ask the question, right? Why does your truck need to be bulletproof? To which I respond, why not? Because it's bulletproof. Right?
That's Elon Musk. He's like, well, if I can, well, shouldn't I?
I have a friend who was former Marine Special Forces, and he'll never forget. He got all excited because there's this like set of consumer level, prosumer level night vision goggles that were like a pretty decent military spec for like $500, and he showed them to his wife. He's like, babe, look at these shits. And she goes, why do you need them? He goes, because it's night vision.
Why not?
That's why. That's exactly why. So there you go. If that wasn't a little up and down of a show, I don't know what was. Hey, it's Monday. We got a fresh start to the week. You got a bunch of people waiting to buy cars and a bunch of people looking to you for leadership. So lead them in the right way. Sell some cars.